Just to start off, can you give us a little bit of an idea of the intensity and the atmosphere of the game at the weekend against Sharks?
Yeah, it was a tough first half, especially. It was a tough game in general. Thought the crowd were well up for it as well. Yeah, it was quite warm, quite humid, um, and plenty of ball and play in the first half, which made it quite tough. But I thought, yeah.
In terms of the key takeaways, in terms of the learnings that you've spoken about since then, what did you do well? What would you do differently if you were given the opportunity again?
I thought, look, we left a few opportunities out there. We could have scored again in the first half, and then we had a chance to win it at the end. So learnings from that is we take our opportunities when we get them. Obviously, there's a few parts of the game that went wrong for us. Probably gave up an easy try at the end of the first half. We could have gone into halftime 10 points up, but instead we were 3 points up, and then a few yellow cards midway through the second half just made it quite difficult for us. But I thought we did well to stick in it and give ourselves an opportunity to win the game, but unfortunately we couldn't capitalise on that.
And just in terms of the tour itself, what's the atmosphere like in camp? What are you learning from the more experienced players who are on the tour? And what's the feeling around the group like?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere is pretty good. We're all getting closer together as a group. I think we're enjoying it. We went on a few trips last week. Like we went fishing on our day off, and then just being around each other in the hotels and stuff makes things better. I thought, yeah.
Thanks, Jamie.
Jamie, is Don here. Was it a very different experience, Jamie? Would you compare it to, say, playing against French rugby clubs as against the home clubs, so to speak?
Yeah, I haven't played a French club, so I've not really that experienced that in terms of that. But it was quite definitely a different experience to playing some of the other teams in the URC. The stadium is quite different to anything I've ever played in. There's like a swimming pool down one end of the pitch, and then a nightclub down the other. So yeah, it's definitely a different experience. But the atmosphere is very good, and really enjoyed playing in it.
Yeah, the physicality was much higher, but I mean, was the speed of the game similar or a little bit higher than some of the other URC games?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the first half anyway, the speed of the game was quite high. And then the second half, as the rain kicked in, made playing a bit more difficult, I suppose, so it got quite physical. But yeah, the speed was quite high, and obviously the physicality is very high too.
So thanks, Jamie.
No worries.
Hi, Jamie. Jerry Carr here, Dublin City FM. I'm just wondering about when you go on a tour like or a trip like this for 2 games in South Africa, how important is the bonding with your fellow players? You finding out a bit more maybe about them while you're travelling away. You're not back in Dublin or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's great because it gives us time to get closer as a group. As I said, I think we also have more time to just discuss the match with each other, discuss the little bits of detail that we need for the weekend, and I think that did help us in the game last week. But unfortunately we didn't win, but I think you could see that we were quite close together as a group, and we were prepared to work very hard for each other.
And just finally for me, did you find the conditions trying, where, with a bit of humidity and that, did you find it tougher than normal?
Yeah, I think it was quite tough, but we adjusted to it well, and then the ball was quite greasy because of the sweat, obviously, and then as the rain kicked in the second half, made the ball even greasier. So we probably couldn't play as much as we would have liked, but I thought we'll learn from that and hopefully adjust so we can win this week.